The recording has now started. So once again, good morning. We continue with the discussion on how sentences can be expanded using adjectives. But of course, in the context of using adjectives to expand our sentences, let's remind ourselves we can only modify nouns. But then adjectives can come in varying structures. The structure that we had last time was for adjectives that look like that are structured as single word adjectives. How do you call again the word that's being modified or described by an adjective? Thea, we term that as the
Head word.
head word, correct. So we always look for the head word, and then once the head word or the modified word is there, the process is complete. We have a head word modifier relationship. Single word adjectives are done. We now proceed with phrase adjectives. Phrase adjectives can be of three types. We have the infinitive phrase, phrase. We also have the participial phrase, and we have the prepositional phrase. As said, these three phrases function as modifiers. They can function as adjectives. How do we structure an infinitive phrase? We need to have the preposition. Wait, someone wants to enter the call. Okay. The infinitive phrase is structured by having the preposition to plus the base form of the verb. You have the base verb. This to and the base verb constitute what you call the infinitive. Take note, this is just the infinitive. That's not yet the infinitive phrase. If you wish to really have an infinitive phrase, you'll have to plus the base verb plus the object or the direct object of that infinitive. So you have this structure, the infinitive phrase. You have the infinitive plus the object of that infinitive. So you have an infinitive phrase. What about participial phrases, people? Participial phrases can come in two types. They can be past participial phrases or present participial phrases. The nature of the participial phrase also contributes to the structure of that same participial phrase. What do I mean by that? A past participial phrase has a different structure from a present participial phrase. Or basically, it's the difference in the structure between the past participle and the present participle. Present participles look like gerunds. We have that when we had a discussion on nouns. Present participles look like gerunds. They end in ing. They end in ing. While past participles can be formed in several ways, depending on it being a regular past participle or an irregular past participle. Regular past participles end in D or ED, like talk. Simple past is talked. Past participle form is talked. Let's go with bake. Past form is baked. Simple past form is baked. Past participle form is baked. It remains to be the same. Because again, these words are regular verbs. If you go with irregular past participles, we have examples like take. The simple past form of which is took, and the past participle form is taken. You also have set, S-E-T, where it remains to be set and set for the simple past form and the past participle form. So these are the irregular forms of irregular verbs that also have irregular past participles. What about the word cut? C-U-T, the word cut. What is the past participle form of cut? Chelsea.
Cut.
It remains to be cut, correct? Because cut is an irregular verb. For as long as it does not fall in the category of adding a D or an ED, or changing Y to I and add ED, it is an irregular verb. Irregular verbs also have irregular past participles. Prepositional phrases. Let's go to this structure. A prepositional phrase is created by having a preposition. You have a preposition plus its object. Thus, a group of words referred to as a prepositional phrase. Let's just be careful with prepositional phrases. Prepositional phrases are generally modifiers. Again, let me repeat that. Prepositional phrases are generally modifiers. Therefore, as a modifier, a prepositional phrase can either be an adjective or an adverb. But since the context of this discussion is on noun modification, we focus on the adverb. Sorry, the adjective. We do not focus on the adverb because this is not for noun modifications. It's all right, Leisha. Go, Leisha. Adjectives, since we are after of noun modifications. Let's now use them in sentences. Let's put these phrases in sentences. For a while. Let me erase these writings. Why ang dumi? My God, it's so dirty. Ew. So dirty. Ew. So dirty. I'll just use wipes. I'm sorry, wipes. I'm using you. If you have time, please visit Watson's, because Watson's has a lot of good things that you can use. Watson's, bigyan naman. Look, people, I have this. These are tiny sanitary napkins, small sanitary napkins from Watson's. Wet wipes from Watson's. Alcohol, I got this from Watson's. Marketing again, Ma'am Elms. Japanese cherry blossom, my perfume from Watson's. It smells so good. Watson's, bigyan namin. Mag-sponsor tayo ng mga video natin. Watson's. I offer collabs. Watson's. Thank you. Let's start with the infinitive phrase. We will have a sentence. We will construct a sentence that uses an infinitive phrase as an adjective to a noun. So that's your sentence. The mission to be accomplished by me is quite difficult. So we have here, obviously, an infinitive phrase. And that infinitive phrase is to be accomplished by me. So you have this infinitive to be accomplished. To be accomplished is our infinitive. It extends to its object, which is me. That's why we have an infinitive phrase. The question now is, what kind of mission is considered difficult, quite difficult? To answer that, you go to your infinitive phrase, which in this case is to be accomplished. What kind of mission are we talking about? It's that kind to be accomplished by me. To be accomplished by me, this infinitive phrase describes mission. And so this functions as an adjective. Another example, let's have the one in your note. Is there an example? I'll also have a pen. This one, the sample found in your module. I always have a friend to talk to me. In this example, you have again another infinitive phrase, and that is to talk to me. What does this do? For you to know the answer, you ask yourself, what kind of friend do I have? What kind? Take note. Therefore, that is now leading to an adjective. The answer is, I have a kind of friend who is ready to talk to me. I have that friend who is to talk to me. To talk to me is an infinitive phrase modifying friend. As friend is a noun, this modifier functions as an adjective. Going back to the first one, as mission is a noun, the modifier is truly an adjective. Questions? If there's none, we proceed to participial phrases. By the way, do not be surprised if what you'll find is just also the infinitive. What I introduced was the infinitive phrase. But if what comes out is just an infinitive, then you will not have to use other words, but just the infinitive itself. In your ST, be careful. If you are asked for whatever is completely found there, you should provide what's completely found. You should provide the complete set of words. What if what you have is merely an infinitive but not an infinitive phrase, then what you shall give is just the infinitive. But if what's found in the sentence is the complete one, which is an infinitive phrase, then you are expected to give out the infinitive phrase. Let's go with participial phrases or participles. Let's have this example. Wait. I gave a wrong example.
During that strong gust of wind and the heavy rain, which part of the what part of the storm there was hitting us? It's just the outer lake side.
This is your sentence. The boy living under the bridge died. So you have here an ing phrase. Take note, an ing phrase. You have living under the bridge. Is it a gerund? It's not. If it were a gerund, it should function as a noun. But what does this do in the sentence? It tries to describe the word boy. Describe the boy who died. What kind of boy died? Who was that boy who died? The answer is the boy living under the bridge. As this participial phrase describes boy, which is a noun, this participial phrase truly functions as an adjective. Let's have a past participle.
Strato is the boundary between the stratosphere. Mesopause is the boundary.
Blackout in Tagbilaran. John just said there's a blackout in Tagbilaran.
Thermopause is the
Dawis people expect you're next.
So number two, this layer.
So you have here this sentence, eaten by many, the cake was found to be delicious. You have a past participle in this sentence, and that past participle is this word. But you don't have a single word participle. You have a participial phrase in the sentence. What is described by this participial phrase, Leisha? What was eaten by many?
The cake.
Correct. The word cake is the one modified by our past participial phrase. Since the word cake is a noun, that places this modifier to be an adjective. By the way, let us not be limited to the placement of participial phrases. Just because it's found, in my example, it's found here, doesn't mean that the past participial phrase or a past participle will always be found on this location. You can have a sentence that says, the wounded dog died. The beaten wife filed a case. Wounded, beaten are single word past participles, and they both modify a noun. Their respective headwords, noun headwords. So they function as past participle adjectives. You can even restructure this first sentence. The cake eaten by many was found to be delicious. And still, eaten by many there functions as a past participial phrase, as an adjectival past participial phrase. Questions? If there's none, we proceed to prepositional phrases. Prepositional phrases that function as adjectives. Wait, I'm drying up the area. Watsons, thank you so much. Thank you for your sponsorship. Watsons, again, Watsons. Let's have this. I don't know, but for some reasons, I'm really driven to create sentences that have this kind of ending. If they do not die, they meet an accident. I don't know, but a part of me is driven to create sentences that have tragic endings. The boys of our class met an accident. Describe those boys who met an accident. The answer to that is this prepositional phrase. Of is a preposition, and class is the object of that preposition. That is why this is a prep phrase. This prep phrase describes one word, and that word is boys. The head word of our class is boys. Since boys is a noun, this prepositional phrase functions as an adjective. Another example.
Energy that is carried by burning that stone from space. Since it is very cold layer, so the particles of the asteroids will be distributed due to the drastic change in temperature from a very hot temperature in the thermosphere down to the very cold temperature in the mesosphere. So this is the layer that protects us from the asteroids, the mesosphere.
I know this example does not make sense. What's the question? What is the question? Sorry. Sir, what was the kind of modifier was eaten by many? It's a participial modifier, correct? A past participial modifier. I know this example does not make sense. I know. She took the jacket with long sleeves. Jackets have long sleeves. I know it does not make sense, but it just came out. At least the ending is not tragic. Diba? What do you want me to say? The girl who took the jacket with long sleeves died. Ah, you want that? For the purpose of an example. I know this one does not make sense. I'm well aware of that. So we have a we have a prepositional phrase, and that is with long sleeves. With is our preposition, sleeves is our object. So we really have a prepositional phrase. What does it try to describe? What kind of jacket did she take? Yes, Alay, it's all right. What kind of jacket did she take? She took the jacket with long sleeves. Since the word jacket is a noun, this prepositional phrase functions as an adjective. How do we differentiate this? I'll just give one example. How do we, because that's going to be for another lesson, the next lesson. How do we differentiate the prepositional phrase which functions as an adjective to that of a prepositional phrase which functions as an adverb? Let's have this quick example.
But in the side of the Pacific area, we call them as typhoon. But they are just the same class. They just pertain to.
That's the sentence. I live under a rock. I'm speaking on behalf of Patrick. Patrick Starr. I live under a rock. This sentence does not answer the question what kind or what type or who is that kind of. It does not respond to that question. Rather, it looks at the question where. I live where? The answer is under a rock. Is it a prepositional phrase? It is. Does it modify? It does. Better question, does it modify as an adjective? It does not. This is an adverb. As it modifies the verb live. Modifiers to verbs are what we call adverbs, not adjectives. Questions? Questions? Look at that. Look at our, you look at our examples, so they have consistent markings. Except for this because it's red. Because that's for adverbs. Our focus again, prepositional phrases that function as adjectives. So expect that when you find your ST, there are sentences there with prepositional phrases. But the better question is, do these prepositional phrases function as adjectives? So please carefully look into that. Just because you will find a prepositional phrase in that sentence doesn't mean that the prepositional phrase is automatically an adjective. It is really possible that the prepositional phrase is an adverb. Now we go to the last structure, and that's with a clause adjective, adjectival clause. Again, what makes up a clause? What makes a clause a clause? It should be first requirement, should follow the first requirement. It has to be a group of words. Second, there needs to be a subject and a predicate in that group of words. Third, that group of words conveys a thought, either complete or incomplete. When we talk of adjectival clauses, we are referring to incomplete clauses. Thoughts are incomplete. Therefore, an adjective clause is a dependent clause. So please take note of that. It's a dependent clause, therefore it should begin with a subordinating conjunction. All dependent clauses begin with subordinating conjunctions. You have a varied set, an array of subordinating conjunctions. Commonly for adjective clauses, we use relative conjunctions. Relative, just like your relative pronouns, where we have, I'll use another color. The most common ones, which are who, which, that. These are again the commonly used relative conjunctions or relative pronouns. But of course, you can use words like the person whose. You can use whose. You can use whom. Or if you find a preposition beside this, include that preposition. For instance, for whom or to whom. Let's have examples now. The boy to whom we owe this amount. Guess what's the next part of the sentence? Was killed.
Okay, so number 10, Southwest.
The boy to whom we owe this amount was killed. It's maybe because you owe some amount to that boy, you decided to kill that boy. O, di ba? You owe no one now any amount. If you meet a sentence that's like this, of course, our obvious relative clause is this one. However, you should include to. This now is the entire set of relative of words to make up that relative clause, modifying boy. Who was that boy that was killed? It's that boy to whom we owe this amount. Again, modifying boy. Is this a clause? Let's examine. Is it a group of words? Obviously it is. Is there a subject? The word we is there. Is there a verb? The word o is there. Second requirement is met. Does it contain an incomplete thought? It does. To whom we owe this amount is incomplete. It leaves you at a hanging position. It's incomplete because it's a dependent clause. That's why it really sounds to be incomplete. Let's look at its function. It modifies the word boy. Boy is a noun, which makes this clause an adjective. A modifier to a noun is an adjective. We'll have another example before we go now to the FPs. Wait. Erase. Watsons, I'm running out of wipes. Baka naman, Watsons, baka naman. Collabs with Watsons and how Watsons has come to be very useful in our discussion. I'd really put that in my vlog. Watsons, you'll get at least 900 viewers if you collaborate with me. Okay, let's have another example.
With geographical features around, they are protected by mountains. So Davao is very typhoon. Though there are typhoons that visit there, like 1% of the total typhoons per year will reach Davao. The reason there because of the geographical feature of the area. They are protected by the mountains. Most part in
My sentences don't make sense. So here's your sentence. This book, which has a new cover, was newly purchased. What is our modifier to book? We have this. What is our clause modifier to book? We have this set. Let's examine. Is it a group of words? It is. Does it have a verb? It does. Where is the subject? The subject is represented by the word which. The relative pronoun which represents the subject. Allow me to repeat that. Which is not the subject. which just represents the subject in this clause. Because the supposed subject in this clause is book. We just cannot find the word book in this clause. However, we are representing the word book using the relative pronoun which, using the subordinating conjunction which. What does this clause do? It describes the word book. Book is a noun, which makes this clause an adjectival clause. Questions before we check the FT activities? Questions. If there's none, we'll proceed now to your FTs. While there's so much time left, we can check the FTs that we have. Wait. Stop. Okay. Please get your modules now. Let's check FT1. The goal in FT1 is to underline all descriptive adjectives in those sentences, in each sentence. Again, descriptive adjectives. Number 1, how many descriptive adjectives do we have? Rain, how many descriptive adjectives do we have? There's just one. And that word is?
Ordinary.
Ordinary, correct. This is where my right minus wrong way of checking your ST comes in. ST, not in this FT. Because if I do not employ the right minus wrong way of checking, you are free to underline all of the words and you'll still get 1 point. You can still get a score. To really validate whether you knew what descriptive adjectives are, limiting adjectives are, the right minus wrong system of checking your test paper has to come out. It has to really be done. It's not that I want you to get a low score. I do not want you to get a low score. I just do not want you to keep on guessing. Because if you simply guess your answer out of this activity, I don't know if that's a good gauge of whether you have understood the lesson or not. Let's go to number 2. How many? What do you mean by if kula? No minus. You just have to be surprised of what specific instructions there may be on the ST, Kiana. At some point before, I had an ST which said, before I had an ST for the right minus wrong type of test. I had an ST which said, failure to acknowledge a supposed correct answer is counted as an error. The failure to identify an answer counts as an error. But you just have to be surprised, Kiana, of what at least you're aware that the possibility is there. We just hope and pray that the ST did not make mention of that. If it did not, I still have time to edit the instructions anyway. You'll just see. But the right minus wrong type of checking prevails. I just do not want you to keep on guessing and choosing a wrong answer. Number 2, how many descriptive adjectives do we have? Leisha.
1.
1. What is that word?
Sudden.
Number 2?
Weird.
Weird, correct. Oh, you check your answers. Huh? Number 2, weird. Number 3, sudden. 4, new. 5, clear. 6, impossible. 7, unusual. 8, bitter. 9, difficult. 10, cruel. So 10 items, 10 points. Did you have extra words being underlined? Because I might have also forgotten, I might have overlooked them. Diba? There are only 10. Let's go to FT2. FT2 is more challenging. Limiting adjectives this time. And you have to tell me, you have to mention the type of these limiting adjectives. Therefore, it's like this. You look at your answer on the blank first. You look at your answer on the blank. The first answer on that blank corresponds to the first underlined limiting adjective. Therefore, if there are 3 underlined words in that number, there are expectedly 3 answers on the blank, even if they belong to the same category. Repeat, you have to repeat your answer. Because if you only mention 2 answers on the blank, yet there are 3 underlined words, we can't justify that. Fortunately, this is not on a right minus wrong type of test. This will come out as your additional notes. Let's go with number 1. These, many, the. Rain, did you forget the, Rain?
These.
So people, these are the 3 words to be underlined. These, many, the.
Oh.
These, demonstrative, many, indefinite, the, article.
Each check, sir.
Yes, 6 points for number 1. But let's do it this way. 6 points if you got all of them right. But if the underlining is wrong, we can't also make sense why the answer on the blank is also right. But they have to go together. Anyway, this is yet an FT. This is yet an FT. Okay, for the purpose of this FT, let's just put it this way. Let's just have 1 point in every number. If you don't get everything right, you'll not get a point. How does that sound? if something is wrong. Anyway, this is yet for the FT. The purpose of this is to read for those who exerted so much effort. Thank you so much. But you have already succeeded there in identifying what should be identified. Ouch, small space. Oh. What's really important here is that you are able to identify what you should identify. Number 2, he made the first. Okay. The first 3, the. 4 article, the 4 thus in that sentence should be underlined. First and 3 should also be underlined. The 4 thus are articles. First and 3 are numbers. First is an ordinal. 3 is a cardinal number. Number 3, 1, the. Yes, John, 1 point per number. But you should try, while we are checking, try to continue identifying whatever it is that you have not identified. Number 3, 1 and the. 1 is a number, while the is an article. 4, her, the. Her is a possessive pronoun, and the 3 thus are articles. Number 5, many, the school. School is a modifier to campus here. A noun adjective. School is a noun adjective. What kind of campus? School campus. It's there. You look at your notes. Below, there's a word note there on note. Sometimes we use a noun to describe another noun. It's all right. It's all right, people. It's all right. The purpose, again, of this FT is to serve as additional notes. Number 6. There. Yes. Noun, the noun adjective, Leija, is also a limiting adjective. For number 6, there and for a day ago. You know, there already, there is demonstrative, there is possessive, is an article. What is this question for, Juliana? What type is it, sir? Are you referring to the school? Just Juliana, it's not the school, it's just school. Noun, correct.
Is they included, sir?
For what word? For what number, Rain?
Number 6. After
Include? No, because is a modifier today.
Oh.
Sir, what's number 5 again, sir?
Many, the, and school.
The, sir? Type.
Yeah, many, the, and school. Number 5, alive.
The, sir?
The type. Sorry. Type. Many is indefinite, an indefinite word. The article, school is noun. Here's a question from Kiana. Do we put possessive adjective or possessive pronoun? Actually, Kiana, I just acknowledged the word possessive because that possessive pronoun now becomes a possessive adjective. The ST, though, will not ask you to identify it as either possessive or it just wants you to know whether, it just wants to ask you whether it's descriptive or limiting. Because again, why do I not anymore have it particularly identified as possessive noun, possessive adjective, possessive pronoun? It's because there being an original part of speech now changes into adjective. Diba? They are now forgetting there being a possessive pronoun as it now transforms into a possessive adjective. So what's important there is the property of possession. Number 7, you're quick. Your and quick. Your is possessive. Oh, no, sorry. Quick. Never mind quick. No, don't include quick. Quick is descriptive. Just your. Watson's. Thank you to Watson's. We were able to erase that wrong answer, which is quick. Watson's again. Number 8. This, your, the. This, your, the. This demonstrative, your possessive, the article. Number 9. Many, those. Many indefinite, those demonstrative. Number 10, man's. Only that. Is there something else? Huy, the word that there is a conjunction that introduces a clause. It is through man's undying efforts that real success comes in. Do you have there a dependent clause, a complement? Therefore, it's not a limiting adjective. When does that function as a limiting adjective? Example, that bag is mine. Because in that sentence, that functions as a demonstrative pronoun, demonstrative adjective. But if the sentence is, I need to know the reason that you have to share right now. That you have to share right now is a clause. In that example, that does not anymore function as a limiting adjective. It functions as a subordinating conjunction. So that can be a subordinating conjunction. It can also be a demonstrative pronoun. It can be a relative pronoun. Be careful with that. It can even just be like a subject. That is mine. That does not belong to you. In these sentences, that does not function as a modifier. It does not function as an adjective. Let's now go to FB, FD3. Complete the following table by providing common and proper noun modifiers to the given nouns. You are, of course, entitled to your freedom of answer there. Like, common noun for adjective. Common noun for adjective. For student. Male student. Male. Diba? Or then proper noun for that student, Japanese student. American student. Stupid student. John, stupid is not a common noun. You should use nouns in FT3. Athletic is descriptive. Female is correct. Because female, male, technically these are nouns. John, in your answer, student council, you're using student as the adjective. History, correct. Let me go back to the example given by John, to the question of John. Student council. In that answer of John, council is the head word, while student functions as the modifier. Well, in this case, student, temple, tree, time, and telescope are the head words. Neil, what do you mean by the word gay here, Neil? Because we have to get the meaning of the word first before we give judgment to your answer. Happy, okay. That does not make your answer correct now. The answer of Neil will not be acceptable anymore because he defined gay as happy, meaning gay there functions as an adjective. However, if gay was defined by Neil as a person who does not belong to the gender of being male or feminine or masculine, then we can consider that as a noun. Neil, too late to change your definition. It's too late, Neil. Student. This answer of Carlos. Student. Carlos, that answer is similar to track. Bye. These are similar answers to chemistry student there. So you have an open opportunity for you to look at your answers. For a while, let's skip FT3. Let's go to FT4. Because FT's 4 and 5, because they are quite objective. They have fixed answers. Again, underline the verbal or verbal phrase modifier in each sentence. Give it specific type. Write your answer in the given space. Number 1, coming from our tribe. Present participial. Showing many things. Present participial. Let's just give it 1 point in every number. Having been found by the pirates. Present participial. To spare for the practices. Infinitive. To see the torn pieces of the golden garments. Infinitive. Occupying the room. Present participial. To be carried out. Infinitive. Worn by the royal family. Past participial. Produced by the instruments. Past participial. To discuss that very complicated topic. Infinitive. FT5. Adjective clause. We are now going to underline adjective clauses, and on the space provided, you should write the word modified by each adjectival clause. Number 1. For number 1, FT4, coming from our tribe. Present participial. Let's go to FT5, number 1. Which is on Dearborn, which is on Dearborn Street. Then you should put on the blank Federal Building. 1 point. In the ST though, the point system changes. Number 2, that I had. Answer. Look, listen to what I'm placing on the blank, I will not include determiners, articles, because that's what you did about in the noun ST. You included words that should not be included. People, be careful. Number 3, who wish to participate? On the blank, students. 4, who is president of the university? On the blank, Miss Gray. 5, that we heard at the party, album. Where Paul Revere lived, house. For whom the part was written, actor. Again, like what I said earlier, if you find a preposition before whom, prepositions like to whom, for whom, you include those prepositions. Number 8, which were ordered in November, yearbooks. Who discovered, number 9, who discovered the element francium, scientist. Number 10, whom the president appointed, ambassador. There. Please count your score for FTs 1 to 5. So that will be 10 plus 10 plus 10, 50. No, 10 to 30. Plus 10 for FT4 plus 10 for FT5, 50. The FTs total to 50 points. Questions regarding expanding sentences through noun modification.
Sir.
Yes, yes.
In number 9, ba, sir?
Of what FT?
FT5.
FT5?
It's not Marguerite Perry.
You have actually there the word scientist, Fiona, as the appositive to
Appositive,
Marguerite
yeah.
Perry. But that,
So it's
correct. The appositive is the head word, not the name of Marguerite Perry.
oh. Okay.
We go to the appositive. Here's the rule as well here, Fiona. Adjectives are placed close to the word they try to modify. Most especially with phrase and clause adjectives. If we put them far from the modified word, they might appear as misplaced modifiers. And a misplaced modifier is an error in grammar. In FT2, Leisha, one point per number. The F or. But actually, don't fret about having underlined so many and then all of those are just given 1 point. If you underlined many and you got all of them right, congratulations. Because you knew which words you should underline. You knew which words to find. Yes, you can, Thea. Wooden tree. Wooden. Wait, wooden. Wooden is descriptive already. Because the noun form of that is wood. Sea tree. Sea tree. Sea tree. Is there a sea tree? A baby tree. A baby tree could probably still be called a sapling. A NASA telescope, a cherry tree. Di ba for tree, oh, mango tree. There's so many apple tree. People. Let's think of a common noun for a tree, a proper noun for a tree. What proper noun for a tree can we think of? I think there's one. Oh, a Philippine tree, a Polish tree, an American birch tree, or a rubber tree, Canadian a forest tree. Wait, a forest tree? So there are trees that are not forest made. I mean, not intended for the forest. An African tree. So we can still find ways. An Amazon tree or Amazon tree. Correct, correct. What about temple? A tree that can be bought in Amazon. Temple. You can of course use the Southern Air Temple. An air temple. Air temple, people. An air temple. Air is not a noun. See, you have there a Taoist temple. Yeah, it's Taoist. You don't read that as Taoist. It's really read as Taoist temple. Brick temple, correct. White is descriptive. Oh, it must be a noun. Other questions? Other concerns? Just a very simple reminder for the ST that you'll take on Saturday. Please be very, very extra careful when you pick out an answer. Do not choose a word blindly because you might have just chosen something which you are not supposed to. Let's have a sample sentence. I'll type in the sentence in the chat box. I'll put that sentence in the chat box. And then you tell me what the descriptive adjectives, what the limiting adjectives are. Wait. Oh, assuming that that's your sentence. Of course, you should expect that your sentences are long. Do not expect for a sentence that reads, the boy ran to the forest. What are your limiting adjectives? Limiting. Alay, give me the limiting adjectives here, Alay. You can unmute yourself, Alay. Rain, give me the limiting. Alay is finding it hard to unmute herself. Give me the limiting adjectives, Rain.
And.
And what else?
Some.
Some. What else?
Eh.
There are two more.
Any?
Any. What else?
Just.
Just is an adverb.
Oh. Ish.
Hello. Right minus wrong. Right minus wrong. Right minus wrong.
Or no.
Or it's a conjunction.
I'm so.
Where's the sentence? People are sending messages. I'm losing the sentence now.
Music, events, and planning, or any other activities. Other?
Muted na.
Other, correct.
Oh, ganun.
Any and other are both indefinites. Then you have an, which is an article, and some as another indefinite. Right? Again, do not expect for short sentences. Do not expect for a sentence that reads this way. Do not expect for sentences that are like that. The children are very happy. Please do not be surprised if the sentences are going to be long. You should rather be surprised if my sentences would just be like, the children are really happy. If there are, let's put it this way. The session has already ended. I mean, it's already 10:48. And then, if there are some clarifications, contact me, and then hopefully, in the luxury of my time, I can cater to those concerns. I can do an elaboration through Zoom with you. But the problem is we are computing for the grades now. We are preoccupied with grade computations. Let's just hope and pray that I be able to finish them before the schedule of your ST. But if you can just send your concerns through a text message or a private message, I'll try to respond in the form of a message. So for now, that will be all. Goodbye and thank you, grade 10.
Goodbye and thank
Goodbye
you,
and
Sir
thank
Seth.
you, Sir Sid.